Uh, Welcome to all the Jaguar enthusiasts and classic car people. I've got a message on one of my YouTube videos, and I still have this problem where I can't reply back. So if you could just write to davejaguar66@gmail.com, just write any comments or advice or anything you want to know, if I can tell you, obviously. And just so Dave Jaguar, one word, 66, Dave Jaguar 66, just like the YouTube, @gmail.com. Okay, there was a gentleman called Charles Cares, and it's spelled K-A-R-E-S. You know, it's cars or cares. Charles Cares, and he's asking me. He's just about to buy he's looking for an E-Type, and he's concerned about getting a good engine and so on and so forth, and what to look for. He's asking if there's a way to determine if the block's cracked and so on and so forth. Yeah, well, there's a few things you can do, Charles. The first thing you want to do when you're having a look, to be honest with you, if you're looking at a Jaguar, I'll go over this in a minute, but if you're looking at a Jaguar, the engine, apart from, will probably need to get done up anyway. And the mechanical work is not that difficult on the E-Type, but the bodywork, if you're buying a car, the bodywork's of more importance than the mechanical, believe me. After a 4-year restoration, I can tell you that with some confidence. So one of the things you can do, if you want to check the engine, I've got the XK engine over the back here, and because it's difficult to see in this car, well, I'll pull up the hood and I'll show you where to look, but I'll show you on this XK engine, which is exactly the same engine, except this is a 3.4 and this is a 4.2 litre, but the engines were basically the same. So I'll go over a few things with you. So the first thing you want to check is when you go to check the car, if the car's running okay, first thing you want to check is take off the radiator cap while the engine's running and see if there's any bubbles coming up or there's any foam or white scum. That's a sure sign there's a head gasket leak. That's the first thing. When you pull the dipstick out, take the dipstick out and check the oil, see if it's manky or it's really gritty or it's dark and it's at the right level. That always tells you. If it's not at the right level, it means the guy's not really looking after the car properly. The other thing is the filler cap, which will show you on the engine. When you take the filler cap off, actually have a look inside it, and if it's bad, if there's any water coming in, the head gasket's gone, or there's any water getting in the jacket, it'll go foamy, and you can see it on the top of it. It's a dead giveaway. Also, while the engine's running, you want to take that filler cap off because you'll feel the pressure coming. If there's a lot of pressure coming out, it means there's a lot of air getting up inside the bores, and that's something you want to stay clear of. The next thing you can do is we'll go over this now, but the best thing you can do if you want to check an engine over is do a compression test, and anybody who's selling a car should let you do that. It's only a matter of taking each plug out, putting the gauge in and doing a compression test. And basically the compressions, they don't have a set figure, but they should be all within 5 psi of each other, or 10 psi maximum. If there's a big difference, then you know there's a problem. The next thing is when you're checking the engine, with these cars, when they first start up with the oil pressure, it takes quite a while because the oil gallery is quite long. It takes a few seconds, 30 seconds or so, or a little bit longer to get the oil up there. So it will sound a bit noisy initially, the tappets and so on, even because they're hydraulic driven. So initially, on initial startup, it will. The other thing is you should have at least 40 psi at startup, and obviously that pressure is going to go down. One, because the oil gets thinner and it gets hot, so that it's less viscous, and so that pressure will go down. So you want to check it when it's cold and when it's hot. So initial startup psi, and then when it's been run for some time. And if it drops down more than 20 psi, then there's some problems. So these are things to look out for. So Amir's over here, and I'm going to get him to open the bonnet up on the Jag, and I'll show you what we're looking at. So this is. Okay, this is my E-Type, as you've seen obviously in the. So if you want to check an engine out, we can't go right up because. So the first thing you want to do is take off this radiator cap here and have a look inside while the engine's running, and you shouldn't have any bubbles coming up. If you have, there's some issues. Obviously from the dipstick again you can check, and this is where you want to check here. If you take this off and there's scum inside here, it shows that there's water getting in it. It should be clean. Maybe not quite as clean as that because this engine's completely brand new. Well, completely rebuilt, which I rebuilt, so but it should be clean in there. Okay, onto the Samir. Okay, and onto this engine. This is the 3.4 from the XK 3.4. One of the other things you want to look at as well as you can, if you see these things here, these are called core plugs. Yeah. Now they can weep, they can easily come open. And what they are is they're basically a disc which is a convex disc, and when they're put in, they seal the engine. The idea is that these can be taken out, or they should pop out if the engine gets frozen. If you had water in here and the engine got frozen, the idea is that this would pop out and stop the head from being, or stop the block from being cracked. So yeah, you can see there's another one there. So check them and see, make sure there's no rust weeps. Sometimes you get a little weep and a bit of rusty water coming out. These are normally replaced when an engine's done. Mine were, because you want to get in there to clean all the galleries out. Anyway, so, but to be honest with you, you know, the engine is the least of your problem. As long as the engine's running well, it's something that can easily be done. But if you're buying an E-Type, really you should be more interested in the body and the particular rot areas on. Can we just open this up again? Sorry. Particular bad areas on E-Types is, especially on the battery side. Sorry, the light's not particularly good, but particularly on the battery side. What a lot of things that happen is that there's a hose that goes on the bottom, there's a battery tray, and there's a hose where any water getting in there should drip down past these engine frames. But where they really go, I'll go on that side where Amir is and show you. This is the bad area here. Where this engine frame is on here, okay? I can't show you inside now because where this bottom of this engine frame is down here, where it goes onto the bulkhead, that's one of the bad areas on them. It really gets rusty there, you know, so it's something to be aware of. So it's this part, but down on the bottom. The other thing with the E-Types is the floors, and particularly these. Again, I won't do it because you can't see it, but the radius arms on the back of these cars can be quite bad too, where the IRS it attaches to the body. Thank you very much. Amir's going to get your torch so you can see. You see this radius arm here? This is a bad point on them for rusting underneath there. I mean, you can see you can eat the dinner off this one because it's just been rebuilt. But this is a bad area. The rest is normally what's wrong with E-Types normally is the bottom 25% of the car or bottom 30% of the car is where it rots, from the bumper down all the way along, completely throughout the car. So everything from the bumper down is what you want to be interested in. The top is not so much of a problem, and the boot area as well can be a little bit tricky. So yeah, and this goes along with other classic cars. This is a Mini up here, Mini Cooper on the ramp, and you know the only difference between this E-Type and that Mini is just the price, you know, the end price and the price you buy it for. But if you're an enthusiast and you know you want a car, the first thing you should be thinking about is what you want, what you want to buy, what you want to have. You know, it's all very well like in exotic cars like Ferraris and stuff, but they cost a lot of money to rebuild. You know, whereas something like that Mini is, you can do that on a budget, whereas something like this, it's not really a budget car. But then, you know, the end amount is a big difference. So my first advice to you, Charles, would be, if you're interested in an E-Type, first thing is either join the E-Type club or a club with E-Types in it, because you're going to buy a car, that's where you'll find one. And 9 times out of 10, you're better off buying from somebody who's been who is an enthusiast, because he'll probably look after it better. And you can get a lot of information. That information could save you thousands and thousands of dollars. I think it's £100, I think, to join the E-Type club internationally, worldwide, for 2 years at a time, I think, including the magazine. And the information you would get is just priceless. If you're not sure